It is Friday, 8:24 a.m., and I've been in this job as an SE for 2 weeks. Well, I guess 2 weeks by Friday, 5 p.m. Let's recap. If you don't know me, my name is Ramzi Majaba. I used to be a sales engineer who went into a solution specialist role, which is a glorified account management role, and now I'm back to being an SE. I've joined Veeam 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to provide some insight because one of the hardest parts of joining a new company is onboarding for some reason. Most companies, onboarding sucks. I have to admit, onboarding in this company is not great, but I feel like my manager has done a lot to overcome that. So I have a video out there talking about how onboarding sucks and how you should build your own onboarding program. That being said, it's very difficult to build your onboarding program until you're a month or two in because you don't know what you don't know and you don't know what you need to onboard or study or any of that. So here's my challenges so far. My biggest challenge was getting my insurance, my benefits going. That was the biggest challenge within this company because it's disjointed. A lot of companies, you come in, they send you a bunch of documents, you sign them, and you're good. With this company, everything's online. I guess the last time I changed companies, it was still paper. So this time it's a little bit different. It's all online and it's multiple systems that you have to go through. So that was the biggest thing, which is kind of necessary when you're onboarding to a new company. My wife doesn't have her own insurance, so she has to go through mine, which means, and my kids. So that means there's no one else to, like, all right, if I didn't get stuff done and my wife needs to go to the dentist, she can use her own insurance. There's none of that. She has to use mine. I have to have it up and ready. So that was the biggest challenge. Now, first week, day one, I received the onboarding plan, the 90-day onboarding plan. Is it perfect? No. But again, my manager put a lot of work into it to make sure that it's as good as it can be given the constraints that we have. We're remote. He has 10 other people or 9 other people that he manages. They're hiring more people. So he did the best that he could. Would I have changed the plan? Yes. Did I ask to change the plan, or did I say, hey, I'm going to skip a few steps? No, because I've worked with clients where when they skip a few steps, it comes back later on to bite them in the behind. Even if the manager says, you don't worry about this. Depending on the company, some companies have like an onboarding process with another team managing and looking at it. So if you skip a step, it's not just your manager who knows, it's the onboarding team, and the onboarding team will come after your manager, and then the manager will ask you to do it anyways. So keep that in mind. Depending on the company, figure out what kind of onboarding there is. My company doesn't have that, so if my manager says you can skip stuff, I feel safe skipping it. I still don't. Even if I just have to go through the motions sometimes to get a check mark. Sometimes you got to go through the motions, even if it doesn't make sense. Your manager asks you to do something, doesn't make sense to you. You just go through the motions knowing that in a couple of weeks, things will change. For example, one client had to track every activity he had along with the rest of his SE and sales team under a common VP, not director, VP, in one Excel spreadsheet. So there were like millions of entries. And he was coming to me and like, how does this make sense? The answer was, it doesn't. Just do it anyways, because they're going to find out it doesn't make sense and they're going to stop it in a couple of weeks. You can fight it, but you got to choose your battle. And that's something my manager says a lot right now. Pick which hill to die on or to fight on. So that first day, got the 90-day plan, met the team. He had a team meeting, so I met the team. And then I just was going through the list. Some of it was make sure you have access to Salesforce. Make sure you have access to this system, that system. Great. Day two, I started learning as much as possible. I started trying to meet people. I wasn't expecting that on day three I'd jump on a call. And the one thing I learned, which I knew, but it was good to see in practice, that SE skills are transferable. Even if you know nothing about the technology, you can still be effective on a call. And I jumped on a call, and not to toot my own horn, but I did well. To the point where one of the SEs that was with me, who was a specialist SE, not part of my team, part of the specialist team, didn't think that I'd been there only 3 days. I didn't talk anything technical. All my questions were business oriented. So if you watch one of my previous videos, modern versus legacy SEs, that's what modern SEs do. They can jump in and be effective from day one because they're talking about the business. And when I talked about the business, I uncovered some of their technical problems, which helped the SE then answer questions. So that was great. That was great to see. And then the rest of that week was just me going through slides. They have some online training, which is part of my onboarding. I had to go through, and I went through it, and took 2 to 3 days. It wasn't fun. I didn't retain a lot. It's my first week on the job, lots of information, but I understood that I wasn't going to retain a lot. My goal is once I see something often enough, it's going to get imprinted in my brain. I'm not going to try to remember everything from one full day session. You have to revise and review, and you do that the more you're in the market, the more you're working on it. And then I had to make sure I have access to the labs and learn how to use them, which I still am. I don't know 100%. There are some labs that I know how to use now and some labs that I don't. So all of this is being worked on. That was week 1. It was more of the same on week 2, Monday, but my manager flew in to see me Monday and Tuesday. And we also had a Veeam user group session in the evening of Tuesday. And the SE mentor, who also was the person who interviewed me from a technical perspective, came into town as well for that half day. And that was great. Just sitting with my manager, going all the questions that I had over the last week, we went through them, which goal setting. You sent me this. We talked about the onboarding plan. Like, hey, is this some of it is not realistic, some of it is weird. Are you okay with me skipping stuff or doing things differently? Do what you have to do. I noticed this from the team, that from the team. It's like, hey, challenge the team, do the things. So it was good, and it was a great start to a relationship. We started building relationship. And if you're thinking about going into sales, but you love the SE team, the SE community, the SE brotherhood, it's very different in sales. There is no SE or sales brotherhood. So me coming from a sales background, I have a sales team, but it doesn't feel like a team. It feels like a bunch of individuals who sometimes jump on calls together, but there's no push to help other people. There's no push for one salesperson to come up with a process that helps another salesperson. Everyone is doing things for their own. That's how they're incentivized. But the SE brotherhood is just something else. And it took me back to when I had an SE team. And it was just amazing. Just having my manager, my colleague, who's a principal SE, he's my mentor. And we're just chatting and having fun and lunches and dinners. These are things that I missed. And lunches and dinners, like, it's a waste of time. It's amazing relationship building. I get to ask all my questions, whether they're businessy, whether I get to know about them personally. So I would highly recommend, if you have the chance to go to lunch and dinner with colleagues, especially SE colleagues, do that. You learn a lot about them. You learn a lot about the business. You learn a lot about the products. And you put credit into your account. And we talk about what do I mean by that, because sometimes you have to ask for things, especially when you're new in the company. When you're new in the company, you're going to be asking for a lot of things. And people will give you grace. You're new. You can ask questions. You can ask stupid questions. But as you go along, you're draining your credit account. You're draining your account where you can ask these questions, and sooner you have to give back to be able to ask for more. And this is one way of giving back without actually doing a lot of work. Just grabbing dinner, laughing together, puts credit in each other's accounts. He's put credit in mine, and I put credit in his. The manager and the SE that I was with. So do that. Wednesday, we actually went, again, I hung out with my manager because my SE teammate had to leave for another conference. I hung out with my manager at a partner site, and we worked through the technical stuff. He did an overview of the technology. We started going through that. Keep in mind, I'm from a very different background. I'm from networking, and we're talking about data resiliency here. And there's a lot of things that I'm learning. I'll share those on LinkedIn, and that's something I want to talk about later. So when I worked with him, we went through the technology, but we also did a presentation for the partners to enable them to go sell. And he did a good job where the partners basically said, no one's ever done such enablement. I'm basically going to go sell your product, right? And that's part of the job of SEs working with partners, is to make them memorize or make yourselves memorable so that they go out and sell your product over somebody else. And then Thursday, I was on my own. I was just studying. Thursday was the worst day in my 2 weeks because that's where I was trying to figure out the benefits. It was my son needs to go to the dentist. I need to have my benefits done, and that took a few hours, which pisses me off. And then I went back to studying after that was done. I went back to studying, and things work out. Now today is Friday. Today is going to be more studying. I'm going to be jumping on a couple of customer calls. Now, the one thing I am facing, I've been doing YouTube and posting on LinkedIn for the last 7 years almost. All of my posts have been about being an SE. And I keep telling people you should post about industry, talk about industry, which I haven't because my previous company didn't want me to talk about that. If I mentioned anything about test and measurement, they would throw a fit. It has to be branded. I have to go through a million steps to get approved. So I just decided, you know what? If they don't want me to market for them, I don't have to. But this company allows me to do that. They encourage it. So I'm not going to be posting anything on this channel on YouTube, but I am expecting to start another channel on YouTube that's just about tech, and I'll start posting more there as well. Now my LinkedIn, my personal profile, I'm going to have to share, where I post about tech and also post about sales engineering. I also have We the SE's page, company page, where it's going to be mostly about sales engineering, obviously. But I do want to start getting more social with it. Now, I will share as I learn. I'm not the expert. So the things I'm going to share are things that I'm learning. I'm not going to be trying to teach anybody. But hopefully people will take something out of it. But yeah, so that's my 2 weeks here. I'm not going to do a check-in every 2 weeks because then I won't have time to post about sales engineering. But I figured it's a good milestone to share because lots have happened in the first 2 weeks. Things will slow down as we go. So I'll have, maybe it'll be every 4 weeks or every quarter. We'll see how it goes. But that's all I wanted to share with you. If you're in a similar situation, comment below. Let me know how you're doing. And maybe we can learn from each other. So, get back to work. Peace.